Are you curious about a 55-year-old bull? Well, this is Stony the Bull here at the Clearwater Junction at the intersection of Highway 283 in Montana, just a little bit east of Missoula. Now, Stony actually is a steer. I have checked the anatomy on this. But what we're going to do today is we're going to head up Highway 83 and check out the community of Seeley Lake. I'm Craig Siphers with the Montana Real Estate Channel. I work with my daughter Erica at Siphers Family Real Estate at Exit Realty Bitterroot Valley South. And we have been helping folks move into, out of, and around the state of Montana since 1966 as a family. And everything that you need to know in order to get a hold of us is in the description below. So if you like our content, please like, share, and comment about what you see on the Montana Real Estate Channel. Now, Stony was brought here in about 1970, so he's 55 years old, 70, 71. In 1998, he had a makeover. Over 200 bullet holes were patched, and they put the tail back on. And then in 2021, they had to patch another 30-some bullet holes and put the tail and a horn back on. So this can be rough country, folks, but stay with us as we tour, take a look at the price points, the neighborhoods, and the area landmarks around Seeley Lake, Montana. Let's go. We start our journey in the great state of Montana and travel east of Missoula, Montana, along Highway 200 to an area known as Clearwater Junction. We are going to take the trip then from that junction at Clearwater, and we're going to drive up from Clearwater along 83. We're going to pass along Salmon Lake, but we're going to get up here and we're going to take a look at this area primarily first. Then we'll go out and check out the various neighborhoods in Seeley Lake. Traveling north, we see a road sign announcing Big Fork is 92 miles away and Glacier Park is 139 miles away along Montana Highway 83, which runs between Clearwater Junction and a point near Big Fork. Now, this scenic route travels north-northwesterly, passing through forested valleys and along the shores of several lakes, including Seeley Lake and Swan Lake. The highway is known for its beautiful scenery and wildlife and serves as a gateway to the Bob Marshall Wilderness and other recreational areas. Along the Clearwater River, which originates in the Swan Mountain Range of Montana and flows into the Blackfoot River, which in turn flows into the Clark Fork River at Missoula. Highway 83 gives us access to a number of lakes along the Clearwater, including Elbow Lake and Salmon Lake, as well as this beautiful lake just off Highway 83, Placid Lake, named after the Adirondack Mountains Lake Placid in New York. So just off of Highway 83, on the way up to Seeley Lake, is this gorgeous Lake, Placid Lake. Fantastic home sites around the lake, very small, beautiful, all in the Seeley area. So let's go take a look at some homes. Placid Lake is approximately 1,212 acres in size with a beautiful state park along its shores. And the park is known for its scenery, camping, aquatic recreation, and fishing. Now, this quiet lake is dotted with homes, mostly seasonal, and recently a 1,552 square foot, 2-bed, 2-bath home sold here for $1,475,000. And it sat on 2.5 acres with 115 feet of scenic lake frontage. Our first stop in Seeley Lake is the Double Arrow Ranch, home of the Double Arrow Lodge, an historic log lodge built in 1929 as a centerpiece of one of Montana's first dude ranches at a time when travel was privileged and the guests from around the country would travel to this wild place
not far from Glacier National Park, and enjoy its wild and scenic wonders. Stay in the lodge and also get out into the wilderness before it was a wilderness. Staying at the Double Arrow Lodge is more than just a getaway. It's stepping into a slower, richer way of life nestled deep in Montana's mountains. Here, time moves with the rustle of the pine branches and the crackle of a campfire. Mornings start quietly with the scent of hot coffee drifting from the lodge and a sky painted in soft pastels. Guests wander in wrapped in fleece and flannel, sharing stories over hearty breakfasts as if they've known each other for years. And what comes next is up to you. Maybe it's a long hike through tall timber, a peaceful paddle across Seeley Lake or around the golf course here, or maybe it's nothing more than a good book, a warm fire, and a deep breath. As the sun dips behind the mountains, the lodge comes alive. Glasses clink in the bar, laughter spills into the hall, and the smell of local huckleberries and fresh trout floats in from the kitchen. Later, back in your cabin or your suite, you'll hear just the wind in the distance, the call of an owl or something similar. And above you, stars you will never forget. So come to rest, others come to reconnect, and a few never actually leave. They're drawn back year after year, or for good, because Double Arrow isn't just a place to stay, it's a place to remember who you are. This incredible place eventually beckoned to be developed, good or bad. The Double Arrow Ranch was subdivided into 2 to 5+ acre lots beginning in 1973. Today, this development just south of town is one of the largest developments in the area, with many lots developed over multiple phases. The homes range in size from 700 square foot seasonal cabins to 3,000 to 4,000 square foot mountain homes for year-round residences. The homes provide relatively decent privacy from neighbors being tucked into the forest there, yet you're close to town for services, and the homes in this development range from the upper 800,000s to the low 300,000s. A home in this subdivision recently sold for $590,000. It was a 2-bed, 2-bath home consisting of 1,152 square feet, detached oversized garage shop situated on just over 3 acres. And the subdivision is served by primary paved roads with numerous gravel roads splitting off the main arteries. The area does get significant snowfall in the winter, and there is an HOA to handle road maintenance. We encounter a lot of people who don't want HOAs, but we have a whole video discussing the positive aspects of HOAs in Montana properties. So look for that in our video library. And if you like our content, please consider subscribing by hitting that logo on the lower right-hand portion of your screen. We very much appreciate it. And also, if you see an area or neighborhood in our videos that appeals to you, please reach out to us by phone, text, or email. We're here to be a resource for you, and all the information is in the description below. You can see that Double Arrow Ranch is heavily timbered in portions with varying terrain, but the lower portion of the development, we get an almost park-like feel with widely spaced pines that give way along some of the paved roads to open meadows, which you can see here in the video. Now these, when we get down here, we'll see homes that overlook the golf course, and we're just going to drive down here, which is the Double Arrow Road. As I mentioned before, it's paved, and you can see there are widely spaced ponderosa pine here. So we're just going to drive down here, then we're going to pop out and take a look at the area around the golf course itself. These homes do overlook the Double Arrow Lodge golf course. This development is called the Meadows. And the Meadows is actually a separate development. It was established in 1999, And the homes in this development sit on lots of approximately 1 acre plus. A couple of recent sales included a 2,467 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath home that sold for $850,000, and a 1,930 square foot, 3-bed, 2-bath home that was constructed in 2023, and it sold for $590,000. Well, the golf course is beautiful, as you can see, and no matter your skill level, whether you're a seasoned golfer or brand new to the game, the Double Arrow Golf Course offers a round that you're not soon to forget, and it's tucked into the heart of the Montana Rockies. It's an 18-hole course known as one of the finest in the state, blending challenging play with scenery that will really stop you in your tracks. Now, the fairways are lined with towering ponderosa pines, crystal clear water features, and perfectly manicured greens. And it's set the stage for the course that's as beautiful as it is fun to play. So it's not uncommon to spot deer wandering across a fairway or catch a glimpse of a fox darting into the brush. And here the wildlife is just part of the experience. Now, the views alone are worth the trip, with the Swan Mountains rising to the east and the Mission Range to the west. Every hole offers a postcard-worthy backdrop, but one hole stands out, and that's the iconic 15th. With its elevated tee, an island green surrounded by water, it's equal parts challenge and photo op. So each hole offers 4 tee boxes, letting you choose the difficulty that fits your game. You play it short and sweet at around 5,500 yards from the front tees, or stretch it out over 6,500 yards from the back for a full test of your skill. Par 72, you've got rolling hills, thoughtful bunker placements, varied terrain, keeping things kind of interesting from the first tee to the final putt. Now, the course is open from late April through October. It's maintained with care by dedicated grounds crew who ensure fast greens and healthy fairways all season long. Sparkling creeks and shady groves enhance natural beauty. And if you tee off early, don't be surprised to see elk grazing there in the morning. At Double Arrow, a round of golf is more than a game. It's a way to connect with the landscape, the moment, and maybe even your best swing of the season. Here we've just passed the Seeley Lake Historical Society, and now moving into the business district. Here we have Valley Market for your groceries. Then we have the Seeley-Swan Medical Center, or Partnership Health Center. It provides medical, dental care, among other services, in partnership with St. Patrick and community hospitals in Missoula. Seeley Lake is in Missoula County. The population was 1,682 at the 2020 census. Now, Seeley Lake was named for Jasper Seeley, who built a cabin there on what was known then as Clearwater Lake, and that was in 1881. Seeley Lake is unincorporated and sits at an elevation of 4,127 feet. And in the summer of 2017, Seeley Lake experienced the disastrous Rice Ridge Fire, prompting local officials to urge all residents of Seeley Lake to evacuate due to hazardous air quality. And you can see more of that in our Fire Season in Montana video. Highway 83 really serves as the main street for Seeley Lake. And so, but what we're going to do here is we're going to turn north onto Locust, which then turns into Airport Road. But in this particular area, there was a manufactured home that was built in 2000 with 3 beds and 2 baths, and just under an acre, and sold recently for $325,000. So as we travel up this area on Airport Road, we're going to come across the Seeley-Swan High School. The high school is a 9th grade through 12th grade school with a student population that ranges from 90 to 110 students. and it has a student to teacher ratio of 9-1. Seeley-Swan High is part of the Missoula County School District and enjoys great academic and athletic success. Developments in this particular area of Seeley Lake, Hillcrest Heights, example, generally 1 acre parcels. Then there's Seeley Lake Pines with lot sizes of around 2/3 of an acre. And a home recently sold in there that was 745 square feet, 1 bed, 2 bath, and sold for $145,000. And another home off Frontier Drive was on 1.69 acres, had 3 beds and 2 baths in 1,248 square feet and sold for $403,765, a very specific price. Then this area is all east of the Seeley Lake Airport. And here we see Eagleport Lodge on the edge of the airport runway. It features 5 lodging units, a 3-story control tower and wraparound balcony with 360-degree views of the airstrip and nearby mountain peaks. This neighborhood is a mix of stick-built and manufactured homes, and we'll be able to see some of that here. There was a manufactured home that recently sold in here for $325,000. It was originally listed for $285,000 and sold over ask. Consisted of 1,384 square feet on a half acre with 3 beds and 2 baths. So I mentioned that there was a mix of housing, and by that I mean you can have variety of construction styles and maintenance in an area. If you're in an unincorporated town, you're not likely to have any zoning. And if you're not in a subdivision with an HOA, you might have those that are not as well maintained homes as there are others, like this beautifully maintained log home right here. Now, the Seeley Lake Airport at an elevation of about 4,256 feet. It has a runway length of 4,575. A kind of a tricky little to this particular airport. There's this beautiful home and hangar just right off the airstrip there with a paved access to this mountain runway that gives you access to areas like the Bob Marshall. You can get into a variety of places. The airport call letters are 23S, and you have to watch for wildlife, of course, on the runway. And there are trees, and you have to pay attention to what's happening when you fly into Seeley Lake. But there's a lot of fun there, and one of them is this van that you can access if you're a pilot. Goes down to Lindy's Steakhouse, and we'll see that here in a little bit later. The post office was originally established in 1912, and we'll see the current location right there. The town was initially known as Corlett for the first postmaster, which was Margaret Corlett, but the town's name was changed to Seeley Lake in 1918, a misspelling of Seeley as in Jasper Seeley. But you have all the things that you need in Seeley Lake. You saw the Napa store back there. Got beautiful community park. Lots of activities all year long. We'll talk a little bit about Seeley Lake itself, but you also have some great winter fun because of the elevation there and the great snowfall, including lots of snowmobiling, cross-country skiing. And so we're going to go out here in one of the neighborhoods and talk a little bit about a newer area. This is a newer subdivision north of the town, and it is called Alpine Trails, and it was established in 2020. And homes in here are on half-acre lots and have sold between $430,000 and $580,000, and they're quite nice looking and very new. Now we're going to head down the other side of Main Street, or Highway 83, as it travels through the community of Seeley Lake. And here we're going to see lots of activity here during this wonderful summer day that we happen to be in Seeley Lake. But of course, as I mentioned, Seeley is a great place to be in summer, winter, fall, and spring. So there's lots of activity all year long. And on this side of the road, you have a number of restaurants, bars, taverns, as well as there's plenty of lodging in Seeley Lake. And just past a place where you can rent ATVs to get out in the countryside and explore. And so when we come up here on this, kind of headed south now back towards the Clearwater Junction, we're going to come across what I think is a really special place, certainly for me, and I highly recommend it. And if you'll recall, we kind of talked a little bit about it when we were out at the airport, and we were talking about the van that takes you to the wonderful steakhouse of Lindy's. So we're going to pull into the parking lot here at Lindy's, talk a little bit about this iconic steakhouse on the banks of Seeley Lake. And so let's stop in at Lindy's. Lindy's is the place for steak in Montana. Lindy's was built in 1978-79, opened in the spring of 1980 by Louis Lindemer, and today is run by his middle son Mike and his wife Jenny and their kids. And it's just a super restaurant with really one item, and that one item, aged prime sirloin cooked to perfection. Your steak is accompanied by specially seasoned potatoes, toasted garlic, bread, and fresh green salad. And you can sit by the window and watch the lake, or begin your evening with a cocktail out on the deck. And so we can go down to the shore of the Seeley Lake. And down here we have, this is Lindy's Landing West, and we have the Bay Burgers. And we're just going to take a little stroll down here and see what the lake looks like, and enjoy some of this great summer weather. Beautiful little area down here next to the lake is part of Lindy's, and I would highly recommend it for anyone to go down to the lakefront. They have fuel here in this location. The lake itself is smaller than Placid Lake. The acreage here is about 1,030 acre lake. Wonderful home sites. You can see on this sign kind of the directions of various landmarks and places in the country. And they've got a dock here at Lindy's. So for example, if you've got a home out here, you can boat in and enjoy a Bay Burger here, or perhaps go on up and have some of that lovely aged sirloin that they serve. And there are a variety of homes around the lake as well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take off and see a few more neighborhoods in Seeley Lake. This area is off Black Bear Drive, which is part of Double Arrow Ranch, Phase 2. Double Arrow Ranch is just a huge development in multi-phases, as we mentioned earlier. And this is an area of some beautiful homes, as you can see. And homes with Morrell Creek frontage can fetch between $800,000 and $1 million for between 2,500 square feet to 3,000 square feet, sitting on an acre and a half. And more modest homes in this area of Double Arrow Ranch. They're on roughly an acre of ground, and then for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, they can get about $450,000 to $500,000 for a 1,500 square foot 3-bed, 2-bath. And so this is kind of a mixed neighborhood, but very nice homes, all terrifically maintained, many paved driveways. Now, Seeley Lake is not incorporated, as we mentioned earlier, and but it does have a community water system, but most homes are on private septics. And there are a lot of opportunities in the Seeley Lake area. It is in Missoula County. Missoula County does have a little bit higher taxes in the county, but it's a wonderful area, and I encourage you to check it out when you have an opportunity.
Hey, well, we hope you enjoyed this video on Seeley Lake. We're going to wrap up here at Lindy's Landing West, our seaplane base. And remember, you want to subscribe to the Montana Real Estate channel, brought to you by Siphers Family Real Estate. And we'll see you on the next video.